Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Wednesday, October 9th, 2019, and we again find ourselves in the final hour of the market. As I mention each day, I believe the prices during the last hour of the market, and more importantly, the prices as close as you can get to the close of the market, are the most valid prices of the day to make my buying and selling decisions from. And that is because during the regular part of the day, the normal trading day, you have the algorithms, you have the day traders fighting it out, battling it out, moving around, a lot of noise. At the end of the day, you have the large financial institutions, market makers taking over the market, taking control away from the algorithms and taking control away from the day traders. And they are the best equipped, the most well informed, and they move the prices to what, in my opinion, are the most valid prices of the day. So that is why I am primarily an end of day trader. I wait till the end of the market, as close as I can to the end of the day, to make my buying and selling decisions from. So, all right, let's take a look here and see if we are coming through. If you can hear me okay, if you wouldn't mind, just say hi. Hey, there's JT. How you doing, JT? Good to see you, my friend. I'm always glad to have you come by. Nice to see you each day. I can't remember. I think it was on Amazon. I looked back over the charts, and I think you got in and you got out right before that dip. So congratulations. Good trade on Amazon. So loud and clear. All right, good. So, all right. Hey Jesse, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Looking forward to our lesson tonight. I always get excited for my lessons in the evening time. Yep, I think we're on lesson number 4. So we're going to talk about scaling out and exits and position sizing, and kind of putting together the plan that we talked about. Your trading plan. That's when this all kind of comes together. Hey, Gamer Squad, good to see you. Always glad to have you come by, Gamer Squad. If you have any questions, let me know. Keith 212. Hey Keith, how you doing? Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. Johnny, hey, what's going on? Johnny, hadn't seen you in a bit. I hope you're doing well. Hope your trading's going well. Thank you for coming by. Toby Petty, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Hey Kurt, good to see you. Hey, I got your email. I responded back. So anyway, it sounds like you got that figured out, but we have our lesson tomorrow night, so looking forward to that as well. So, all right, well, the market is, as Steve Burns says, is bipolar lately, and it is. Yesterday we had that huge down day. Today we have big up day. So yeah, it's been pretty volatile lately. And remember, volatility doesn't just mean things go down. Volatility means things can go down big, then up big, and then down big. And it's perfect opportunity to really get whipsawed and cut up in trading. So, we always have to be careful when things get really volatile. And, it's really not a bad idea when things get super volatile like this to maybe even reduce your position sizes more, because the moves are so much larger. So Dow Jones up 230.39, up 0.92%. NASDAQ up 101 points, up 1.29%. And the SPY is down 33.65, up 1%. I laugh because yesterday, we were down big. Today we're up big. Not really sure if anything's changed or what's changed. So, all right. So, listen, the plan for today, as usual, first of all, we're going to go ahead. We're going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. We're going to get that out of the way. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at my current positions. We're going to talk about when I bought them, why I bought them, more importantly, how I'm going to manage them going forward, either to the upside or the downside. After that, we are going to do a few minutes on trader psychology. As you know, I mention this every day, and I do it on purpose, but managing your emotions in trading, guys, is the most important skill that you will ever learn in trading. Yes, you have to learn the technicals, but after that, the challenge is not learning the technicals. You will learn the technicals. After that, it is managing your emotion in the trade, whether it's going up a lot, whether it's going down a lot. When everything's going fine, your emotions are kind of even keeled, but if you start making a lot of money or start losing a lot of money, or you get in and then it goes against you, you get back in, it goes back against you, it gets frustrating. Trust me, I've been doing this for a long time. And those are the danger zones, you know, those are red flags when you start feeling frustrated, because if you feel frustrated, then you can start acting out. And my best advice is just treat each trade like one of the next 1,000 trades. It's just one trade. It's not going to make a huge difference one way or the other. And when you start feeling like that, when you start feeling frustrated, where you're up one day and then down 2 days, and up one day and then down 2 days, right? Just remind yourself, this is for the long term. This is just a temporary bump where I'm maybe getting chopped up. But don't act out and try to be a hero and make the money that you've lost back. You will make it back. Just remember that you'll make it back in the long run. But in the short run, anything can happen. If you get frustrated and you buy too much position size, in my experience, it's always going to go against you. I mean, there's a few times it might go your way, but the majority of the times, if you act in frustration, you're not going to make the right decision. So anyway, it's a skill. Managing your emotions is a skill. So, you know, that's why, in addition to the technicals, I like to talk about this every day. So we'll do a few minutes on that. Then we're going to go down through my watch list. We're going to take a look at each stock. We're going to look at all the technical levels. We're going to look at moving averages. We're going to look at RSI. We're going to look at ATR channels. We're going to look at MACD. In my opinion, you know, if you want to buy a stock and you want that stock to go up, which of course is that's what you want to do, you need other buyers to help you move the stock up. And I look at indicators like MACD and moving averages, RSI. I look at those as potential groups of buyers. So when I look at a chart, I see lines, obviously, and I see indicators, but I look at each one of those indicators as groups of buyers. And, you know, if you want something to go up, you want as many groups of buyers as possible. So therefore, you want as many indicators lining up or groups of buyers lining up at the same time. So hope that makes sense. And then, so we'll go down through, we'll do kind of a quick, you know, we'll go down through, we'll mark ones that look like they have potentials. And at the end of the day, we'll revisit that candidate group, and hopefully we'll whittle that down to one, maybe two of the best ones. And then after that, if you have any questions for me whatsoever, please let me know. If I wasn't clear on something, please let me know. I'll try to clarify it for you. If you have any stocks that you would like me to take a look at, please let me know. And by the way, you know, I switch back and forth on the screens, so I can't always see your comments until I go back to the other screen. So, you know, if you have a comment there and I don't get to it, that's why, because I'm not seeing it. But, you know, if you see something that looks really good, maybe a stock that I don't follow, if you see something that you think looks really good, or that I would be interested in, or that you want to share with the group, please let me know. You know, and maybe say, hey, this is a possibility for the end of the day, something like this. Otherwise, if you just want me to look at something in general, I'll wait till the end of the day to take a look at that. All right. But if you see something you think, you know, looks really good for a possible end of the day entry, please let me know. Put a little star by it, something, so I know it's one of those type. All right. And yeah, so that's going to be the plan. And if you have any other questions after the market closes, please let me know. We'll get to them. And so that is the plan for today. Sound good? So, all right, if you guys can hang on about 40 seconds, I will be back, and just going to run the U.S. legal disclaimer. I'll be right back. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Hey, Dustin's here, W44. How you doing? Thank you for coming by. And Frank is here. Hi, Frank. How you doing? It's always a pleasure to tune in. It's always a pleasure to have you in, Frank. JT got in STZ at 1895 this morning. Perfect. Actually, yes, that was the one that you were talking about. Maybe I got that confused with Wayne. But yeah, you did mention Constellation Brands yesterday, and it went under 30, over 30, rejected the 200-day, went under the 250, closed above, had a V1. So congratulations, nice trade, JT. Nice trade. So, all right. So we only have two positions here. Actually, I have three. I have Disney. I'll talk about that also. So let's start off with the SPY. All right, it's the all famous SPY trade. In case we have some new viewers today, I do want to just kind of go over this so you understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. But the overnight SPY trade, I do buy the SPY every single day at the end of the day. At the close of the market, I buy the SPY and I sell it the very next morning, first thing. Every day. So I buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning. But this study is from Liz Ann Saunders at Bespoke Invest. This is the only approach that I use that does not involve technicals. But here you have two options. Option number one, you could buy the SPY at the open each day. So if you bought it in the morning each day, sold it at the close each day, every day since 1993, you would have had a negative 13.9% return. Now, if you did the opposite, which is what I do each day, I buy the SPY at the close each day and sell it the next morning at the open. So buy at the close, sell at the open. So if you would have bought the open, sold at the close every day, you'd actually return a negative 13.9% from 1993. But if you do what I do, which is buy the SPY at the close each day, sell it the next morning at the open, you'd have returned 634.2%. So there's a big difference in when you buy the SPY and when you sell the SPY. And it says here, past performance is no guarantee of future results. Yes, of course, that is true. That goes for any trading approach. But what this really means, if you break it down, since 1993, all the gains in the U.S. stock market, all the gains have come in after hours trading and the pre-market session. People bid it up in after hours and then they bid it up in the pre-market and then they sell it into the open. Pretty interesting, right? So I like this graph. I like to show it each day. The blue is the buy in the afternoon, sell in the morning. The orange is the buy in the morning, sell in the afternoon. You can tell there's a huge difference. The reason I like this graph, it shows what a good long-term approach can do for you if you're in it for the long run, right? There are times where you have ups and downs, and these are just a normal distribution. Even when you have an edge, you are going to have ups and downs. The important part here is you need to position size correctly, take the long view, let your edge play out in the long run. Don't blow up your account in the short run. I'm sure there was a lot of frustration in here, right? A lot of frustration. This was a couple years, guys, right? So that's why I always say take the long view approach of trading, not the short term, because anything can happen in the short term. So anyway, great graph, shows you what an edge looks like if you can approach a trading system or a trading approach with a long-term perspective and position size correctly so that you can stay in for the long term. So, all right, with that said, did buy the SPY yesterday at the close, 288.55. This morning we sold it up here at 290.78. So that was a good trade. The day before, however, we had a loss, right? We had a loss, but this is part of trading this approach. You're going to have wins, you're going to have losses, but again, it's for the long term. In the month of May, using this approach, I think I lost 80% of my trades using the overnight. But in big picture, since I've been using it since February 26th, it has returned a really nice profit. I got to tell you, even with that horrible May, it has returned a nice profit. So this was nice. We bought it 288.55. We sold it today at 290.78, and I will be buying this again today at the close of the market. All right, so UNH, we've been in this trade for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've been in it about 7 trading days. I did buy this back on September 30th. And the reason that I bought it, there were 3 reasons that I bought it. First reason is the day before we went under 30 RSI. And if you lose the 30 RSI, that's significant because there are buyers that come into the 30 RSI. If those buyers can't even hold it up, then that's quite negative. But if you can go from under 30 RSI and then back over 30 RSI, that is one of the triggers that I use to get me into a stock. But not only did we go under 30 and back over 30, on the day that we bought, we also went under the third ATR channel and back over the third ATR channel. That is significant because 90% of prices stay above the negative third ATR channel. So when they start getting down here, 90% of the time, they should have some type of bounce. And when stocks get up to the third ATR channel up here, 90% of the time, that's about it in the short term. So, so we went under 30, over 30. We went under the third ATR channel, over the third ATR channel, which is positive. And then we also had a nice V1. Here is day 1. Here is day 2. Day 2 washes out. And when I say wash out, I mean goes below the previous day's low by at least a quarter ATR, closed above day 1's close. In addition to that, day 1 was smaller than 1 ATR channel, which is more ideal than having a big bar like this. So we did buy it here, 217.33. Kind of moved sideways for a few days, then it started its move up. I scale out whenever the price goes up at least 0.45 ATR, whatever that value is. So currently the value of 0.45 ATR on UNH is $2.19. So whenever it goes up at least $2.19, it could change tomorrow. It could be 220 or 224, but this is just the value for today. So I know I did hit one profit target here, hit a couple here, hit one here, and again we hit one here today at 222.35. My initial profit target on this, guys, is I'm keying off of the 50 RSI. Today the 50 RSI is 225.20. So today, if we had a big surge at the end, got up to 225.20, it tested it and then closed below, that would be my signal to just go ahead and get out of the entire trade. If it closed above the 50 RSI, obviously then we would hit another profit target. But if it closed above the 50 RSI, I would keep it until it got to my ultimate profit target, which is right up here at 232.70. This was based upon the downward sloping 50-day moving average. So that is my ultimate profit target. If you can see, you might say, Greg, it's not at the 50, but I'll show you. If we look at it, oh shoot, this is skewing it. But anyway, looking at the 50 from yesterday's viewpoint, that's where it was. So anyway, if it gets to there now, that would be my ultimate profit target, and I would run out of shares, right? So when I phase out more the closer I get to my profit target, and I phase out less percentage of shares the further I am away. So now that we're getting closer to this profit target, every time I hit a profit target, I take a larger percentage. So maybe down here I might be taking 10%, maybe up here I might be taking 12%, maybe up here I might be taking 15%. As I get closer up here, I might be taking 22%, and that's just a formula that I've created over the years, where as I get closer to my profit target, the risk to reward gets worse, therefore I want to take off more shares each time I hit a profit target. And if it comes back down, then I want to sell fewer shares to give myself more potential to the upside. So if we look at this chart, currently it has rejected the 20-day moving average. Let's see how high we got today. We got about 47.30, so not quite there. If we go up tomorrow, we might have a good chance to see whether or not we're going to test that 50. To the downside now, because it's extended so far away from my entry, if tomorrow we had a close below the previous day's low, that would be my signal just to go ahead and lock in profits. Disney. So if you guys remember, I did sell puts down to $123. Come this Friday is the expiration date, so as long as Disney stays above 123, I'll be able to keep all the premium. But actually today I closed it out. I think I sold these premiums at $41 and I exited for $5 today because it's so close to zero, and the risk to reward now all I can make is $5 more per contract. So this worked out well. Just real quickly on, when I look at options, I have to look at 3 time frames. I have to look at a price where I think there's going to be support on 3 time frames, and that $123 mark dovetailed nicely with the 50% Fibonacci of this big bar. We also have the 20-month moving average underneath us. On the weekly, when I wrote them, we had the 50-week moving average above us. That should have acted as support. And then on the daily, the 123 mark here had the 200, the third ATR, and the 250 as support, and also the 30 RSI as support. And so, when I look at selling options, when I look at selling puts, I really need to look at a price that looks like it has technical support, not just on one time frame, but on multiple time frames. And in addition to that, it's still very important. You have to be cautious, if you do sell premium, because the risk to reward is not as good. The win ratio is much higher, but the risk to reward is not that great. So selling options is just another profit center in my trading. I position size exactly as if I just be purchasing any other directional stock. So anyway, covered the Disney puts today, so I am currently out of all my puts. So let's take a look over here. Mount Doji, what's going on? How you doing, sir? Good to see you. What's been going on with your trading? I haven't seen any of your trades lately. I looked at that Caesars the other day, and boy, that was a great setup. The next day we had the big day down and actually went against. I would have had to get out if I took it to trade. I didn't take the trade, but really good analysis on that Caesars trade. Marco, hey buddy, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you for coming by. If you have any questions, Marco, anything I can help you with, you just let me know, okay? All right. Let me just check over here. All right. So listen, everybody, this is the time of the day during the podcast or the live stream, whatever we want to call this, that I like to talk about trading psychology. There are a lot of good channels out there on Twitter that post trading words of wisdom from a psychological standpoint every day. There's some really good ones. One of my favorite is Akil Stokes, at Akil Stokes RTM on Twitter. So if you haven't subscribed to his channel, you really should read his post. He does a great job. He does a video blog each day on there talking about trading psychology because he knows how important it is. So I saw this today and I thought that it would be helpful for us. But Akil says, I was always told that trading is boring. Then you know that you're doing it right. And there's 2 pictures here. So I was always told that trading is boring. Then you know that you are doing it right. Well, that is true. I mean, I have been told that by almost every mentor and teacher I've had in trading. Look, trading is a business, everybody. It's not a gambling platform. It's not a video game. You have to treat it like a business. You have to be patient. You have to wait for setups. If it's exciting to you, I'm telling you, you're probably doing it wrong. And when I say that, you're probably over trading. You're looking for a thrill. Most likely your position sizing too large. Think about a casino, right? If you're at the Bellagio and you're at a $5 blackjack table, Do you think it's exciting for the casino and or the dealer? Not at all. It's super boring. They're going to win some, they're going to lose some, but overall, they are going to make money because they have an edge. They are taking the long-term trade, the long-term approach of gambling, but they're on the right side of the gambling table because they have an edge. But it is not exciting to them. It is super boring. I used to live in Las Vegas. I knew dealers. They think it's like the most boring thing ever. Now, if you go into the Bellagio and you put down, if they allow you to take a $1 billion bet, would it be exciting for the casino? Yeah, it probably would be exciting for the casino, but they would be making an error because that $1 billion bet was probably too large of a position size relative to their capital. But $5 bets, $100 bets, $1,000 bets, very boring to them in relationship to how much capital they have. So the other part of this picture here, the markets are 20% uncontained excitement and 80% pure boredom by Michael Reynolds. So again, everybody, if you feel that each day is super exciting, in trading, you're probably doing it wrong. If you can't sleep or you wake up, oh my gosh, I gotta see, you're probably positioning too large. So like I said, every trading mentor and teacher I've had have told me this, but do a check on yourself. And if you're super excited for the market, if you're looking for that thrill, you may be in this for the wrong reason. Think of yourself as a casino on the other side of the table. They're dealing one hand out of the next 1,000 or millions of hands. They don't care. They don't care if they have a little string of losses. They're going to make it up in the future. But try to make your trading boring. And like Akil says, if the trading is boring, then you are really probably doing it right. So thanks, Akil. Hope you guys subscribe to him. Akil Stokes at Akil Stokes RTM. All right, so we'll get rid of that. And there's the doggy. He looks pretty bored. All right. Wow, we got through everything pretty quickly today because I didn't have that many positions. But I'll tell you what, glad to have some green today after yesterday. I was really light going into yesterday. And even with that, it was kind of a hammer day. So, I might want to say here too, I say this all the time, but I say it with love, guys, because there are times when the market is going up, it's going up nicely, you're making money, every day feels good, you think trading's super easy, and that's good, right? I mean, I hope that we all have days like that, but there are times where you lose money and then the next day you make money, and then you feel like you're having a little bit of a comeback, and then the next day you lose, and then you lose. And it's difficult. That's when those emotions start to build up and you get frustrated. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you're frustrated, that's when you make the worst decision. So always try to remember it's a long-term game. This too shall pass. And just don't go in there, get frustrated, and take too large a position size. Just write it out, right? Just write it out. I promise you in the future, you're going to get back in phase with the market. You're going to make back those losses. You will make the losses back over time. So, if you feel frustrated, send me an email. We'll talk you down. But when you feel frustrated, step away from the computer. Go do something else, right? Until you have time to calm down and get perspective again. Hey, Anthony, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Thank you for coming. Mount Doji says, love that casino comparison. I picked up SLV yesterday, by the way. Oh, you picked up some silver. All right. Well, I think we might have a gold trade today. SLV, you said SLV, right? Yeah, SLV. So on SLV, you'd be waiting for the 520 crossover. Oh, yesterday's low. Perfect. Perfect. Way to go, bud. Gamer Squad, how will you trade Roku? after a day like today. Oh, I have no idea what Roko's doing. Boy, this is a tough one. I mean, right off the bat, we have a MACD crossover. That's always positive, right? Jesse, we're going to be talking about this tonight, but whenever you have a MACD crossover, that is always positive. I mean, we came down, we built this nice base. Strong day today on volume. We're back in the value zone. You know, as my students know, the people that bought down here, once we get up here, we're close to the 50 RSI. If this fails today at the 50 RSI, there's a good chance we could come down for a couple days. It doesn't look like we have any crossovers here. I would be careful on these kind of moves, guys, where it seems like, man, I don't want to have the train leave the station. You know, I honestly don't really see any buy signal here the way that I trade today, but we did go under the value zone, into the value zone. What I would be looking for here, Gamer Squad, is I would be patient, see if we could get a day or two pullback, then look for a higher low V1. That would be the place, because the people that bought here, it's, you know, now they have a nice profit. If it fails at the 50, very likely some of them are going to unload their shares. That may cause it to come back for a day or two. I mean, this looks positive, 100%. Long term, this looks kind of bullish to me, but in the short term, it looks a little chasey. So I would wait for a couple days, pull back somewhere here in the value zone, and look for a V1, V2 to enter. So that is how I would trade. That's what I would be looking for Roku. All right. Well, listen, let's start going down through and see if there's anything interesting for today. And I know there are some interesting things for today. So, all right, well, let's start with Apple. Okay, so Apple, up, down, up. Excuse me. It's really nothing on Apple here for me. You know, it's above the 1 ATR channel. I'd like to see a pullback into value. I'd like to see it move down. I'd like to see it stop going down, move sideways, and I look for a V1 or a V2. Alternatively, you know, maybe down here at the 50-day moving average might be interesting because we're so far above it. Other than that, a pullback to the 3rd ATR and some kind of V1, V2, or I know a pullback to the 100-day. I know you're looking at this saying, well, that's so far away. I mean, let's be realistic. Well, realistically speaking, it could get down there. I mean, it certainly could get down there, but the most likely trade at this moment here would be a pullback into value. Right now it's above value. I don't like to buy things above value. I want to buy them at value or below value. So a pullback, you know, most likely trade here, pullback into the value zone, sideways movement, look for a V1 or a V2. Adobe did close under the 200-day moving average, did close above the 200-day moving average. We have a higher low, right? People that bought here, sold here, moved it back down. Now we have the buyers taking back over. You know, Adobe backtest okay when it's under the 200 and then back over the 200. The only thing is with me taking this trade here right now, see how we're at a 46.73 RSI. So, you know, the 50 RSI is probably going to be somewhere about here, maybe. And then you have this previous resistance here as well. So the risk to reward is not that great. You know, if you just wanted to buy it and hold it above the 200 and just keep it as long as it's above the 200, okay, that's fine. But for the way I trade here, I just have to look at the risk to reward and go, okay, if I'm wrong, I'm probably wrong this much. If I'm right, I'm probably right maybe a little bit more than 1-to-1, but I like to have at least a 2-to-1. So, you know, it is appealing because it is a higher low, but I think on Adobe, I am just going to wait for some kind of crossover. So nothing on Adobe today. Advanced micro devices. Nothing there as well. Amazon. This got me out yesterday with the close below the previous day's low, and then it would gap right back up. From here, really, there's nothing. In order, to the upside, I would look for Amazon to possibly close above the 250 with the stop below 250 as my stop. That's a good back tested approach with Amazon, or a cross back over close and across and close back over the 200. You can see we have the 50-day moving average coming down, getting close to closing under the 200-day, which that is called the death cross, when the 50 crosses underneath the 200-day. So to the upside, a close over the 250, close over the 200. To the downside, I would be looking for a 30 RSI bounce. Bounce off the 30 or close under 30 back over the 30, especially down here closer to the third ATR channel. So I would prefer a move down here. That would be my preference, is looking for a 30 RSI on NASDAQ, on Amazon. Boeing is working on a higher low V2 here at the moment. So we came down, we rallied. Now we've sold off. Now here's a V2. Here's day 1, here's day 2, here's day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Day 3 here would have to close above day 1's close, and I've marked that at 376.54. For me to take this trade, I honestly would want to see this close back above the 50. It's already above the 50, and I'd like to see it close back above the moving averages. That would make me feel a little bit better about it. So let me just see real quick. Have to do the numbers here. All right. I usually do the numbers before, but this didn't look like it was going to trigger. Now it's getting close. So it's a potential. It's a potential with the higher low V2. Caterpillar, trying to do a V2. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. This would have to close back above. But if it did, I think we'd be like a 42 RSI. So I'm just going to skip Caterpillar. Dow Jones Industrial. Close under, looks like we might close back over the 100-day, but it's a 46 RSI. It's still going to find some resistance probably at the 50 RSI and all these moving averages here, the 20 and the 10 and the -1 ATR channel. So I'm not interested in anything on Dow. On Dow, I would have to have a close under back over the 200 to really give me a good risk to reward. Disney, we talked about that. Got out of the puts today. Etsy looks good. We have a higher low V2. We made this low. We rallied back up into the value zone. We had 2 days down. On these higher low V2s, I really like to see 2 days down, not just 1 day down, because stocks tend to go down in 2-day intervals and then possibly have a move up. I mean, not all the time, but it's just kind of something I've noticed a lot of times. 1 day down a lot of times leads to 2 day down, and then you have a reversal. So we have a V2. Here is day 1, here is day 2, here is day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. Certainly looks like today we are going to close above day 1. So this is a higher low in the value zone. It's above 50 RSI. MACD just went positive today, which is also good. And we had a 1050 SMA cross. And so if we pull up ETF replay, and I'm using this by permission by ETF replay, but if we do a 1050 simple moving average crossover, you can see this back test really well. Buy and hold, it made 182.3. Using this approach, 231.1%. And look at the drawdown. Even though it made more, the drawdown was about half of what buy and hold is. So buy and hold did worse to the upside, did worse to the downside. The 1050 SMA worked better to the upside and had less downside. So, you know what I mean? I definitely would use that, and that's what we have. So not only do we have a higher low V2, we also have a 10. Let me show you over here. See? Pink line's the 10, the gray line's the 50, and we have the crossover. And more importantly, the crossover is happening here in the value zone. If it happened way up here at the third ATR channel, like it did here, I wouldn't even take the trade. Thankfully, I didn't take that trade, but the reason I didn't, because it was too high. But this is happening right in the value zone. So I like this trade. So I am definitely going to be buying Etsy half position under the 200-day today. Ford Motor Company. Nothing interesting on Ford. Facebook is up nicely today. Nothing on Facebook. I would have to wait for some type of crossover, 1050 EMA crossover. 5 below, closing under the 200, so nothing there today. Gold, I've been waiting for gold. I've been waiting for the 520 EMA crossover. Looks like we have it. The 5 is 141.64. The 20 is 141.59. So, and it is happening in the value zone. This 520 crossover is happening in the value zone, which is what I like to see. If it happened up here, I just wouldn't take the trade. But here it's happening in the value zone. We had that V2 yesterday, so looks like for sure I will be buying gold today, full position, because it's over the 200-day. Sorry, dog. Be back 25 seconds. Talk amongst yourself. We'll be right back. I apologize. Okay. I'm telling you, man, my dog Katie, she sits and does nothing all day long until I start the podcast. And if I put her out, she's just going to sit and scratch the door. So, yeah, she's got me trained up pretty well for sure. So it looks like I will be buying gold today if we have the crossover. And right now, looks like the 5 is going to cross above. Google. Jesse and Kurt and Anthony, I do want to point out that it looks like we may have a V2 here today. Not quite yet, but here's day 1, day 2, day 3. Day 2 washes out day 1. This looks like it might close above, but if it did, it would not be valid because see the gap that happened? More than a quarter ATR, so that would not be valid. Goldman Sachs. Not participating today in this rally, which is interesting. I mean, I do like, we actually bought Goldman Sachs here. I got out here when it rejected the 100-day. I mean, we are right at a confluence point. I mean, we're right at the third ATR channel. We're right at the 200-day moving average. We're actually under the 200-day moving average, so I think I'm not going to mess with this. I mean, I like the confluence of signals here, but I don't like the price action. I mean, we're actually down now, right? We're actually down now, so I'd like to see if we could buy under 30 or a close under the 200, a nice strong move back above the 200 with some volume. So nothing on Goldman Sachs. How are we doing on time? All right. IBB, nothing really there. Intel looks like it is making a higher low V2, but again, it gapped up. It's more than a quarter ATR, so it invalidates this V2. It's not quite a V2, but I mean, it's close to a V2. This would have to close above Monday's close. You can see that's where I drew the line, but see the gap? And I can't take it on a gap. Russell 2000, I'm waiting for a 1050 SMA cross. That does backtest very well. So to the upside, I would need the 10 to cross over the 50 for a moving average crossover, or conversely, a bounce off the 30 or a close under the 30 and back over the 30. So nothing really there on IWM. Oh boy. Johnson & Johnson, look at that. So nothing on Johnson & Johnson. Yeah, nothing there for sure. Coca-Cola. Technically, right now, it's very close to a higher low V2. Here's day one, day two. Day two does wash out day one. It gapped open day one's close, which would invalidate it. Now it's filled it during the day, so if it did close above, it would be valid. However, it looks like it already rejected the 50-day moving average, which I don't like. So, you know, if I would have bought it here for whatever reason and it went up to the 50 and closed below, I wouldn't get in it. So nothing on Coca-Cola. Lockheed Martin, we do have a higher low V2. Here's day one, day two, day three. Day two does wash out day one. It is higher than that previous low, giving us a higher low. It did gap up, invalidating it. However, it came down, closed most of the gap, which would make it legitimate. And right now it is a valid V2. However, it did reject the 50 RSI already intraday, which I don't like. You know, I don't like that. So nothing on Lockheed Martin. MasterCard is a higher low V2. Day one, day two, day three. Day two washes out day one. Right now we're right on the cusp of validating that V2, but it gapped. It gapped more than one ATR, so it invalidates it. All right, Altria, it's too high. It's a V1, really nice V1, but it's too high to take. It's above the channel. Merck, nothing on Merck. Microsoft has a beautiful higher low V2. Here's day one, day two, day three. Day two washes out day one. Day three closes above day one. It's a beautiful higher low V2, except for, look at the gap. I can't take V1s, V2s when you have that large of a gap. So I can't take this trade. Netflix actually down today. So what I would be looking for Netflix, here we made lower lows. We rally into the value zone. We've come down a couple days. So if I could get a V1, V2 tomorrow, it would be perfect. It would be perfect, right? We made a low. We came here. We sold off a little bit. We have a higher low here, which is good. Then we moved up higher. 2 days down. Remember, on V1s, V2s, higher low V1s, V2s, it's best to rally into the value zone, not just have 1 day, but 2 days down. Here we've had 2 days down. So tomorrow, if I could get a V1 or V2, today's rejecting the 1 ATR channel, which is good. If I could get a V1 or a higher low V1 or V2 tomorrow, I would definitely take that trade, but nothing there today. Nike, nothing there. Philip Morris, strong, too high in the channel, has a 200-day as resistance above. PayPal, you know, PayPal backtest okay when you have a close below the 250 and above the 250. Earlier in the day we were above and now we're below, so nothing there. I'd be waiting for a 30 RSI dip on PayPal. The Qs, really nothing on the Qs. What I'd be waiting for on the Qs is a 520 EMA cross. That's a good, valid, back-tested long-term approach to trading the Qs, or a move back down here to the third ATR channel, maybe at this previous resistance, a lower RSI, V1, something there. Or, of course, always an under the 30, over the 30. The SPY, we had that nice overnight trade. I will be buying this again at the end of the day. Bonds, you can see got right up to the third ATR channel, close to the third ATR channel, moved back down. We are in a nice uptrend on bonds. So it's selling off a little bit. So we've made a higher high. We're above the 1 ATR channel. I want to see this come back into the value zone, move sideways, then look for a V1, V2 entry. Tesla, strong, strong, strong. But nothing there on Tesla. Twitter, So I did get out of Twitter yesterday with a close under the previous day's low, and it is down more today. So that always feels good, right? When you get out and the next day it's down. When you get out and the next day it's up, you're like, ugh. But that's just trading, right? So nothing here on Twitter. For me to get interested in Twitter again, I'd have to get down here to the third ATR channel. Ideally, having the third ATR channel close to the 30 RSI. That would be good. UNH we have. We did hit one profit target today. Looks like it has rejected the downward sloping 200-day EMA. Has not hit our profit target of the 50 RSI. So tomorrow, if we close below today's low, I'll just go ahead and lock in my profits on UNH. Oil did gap open quite a bit higher and looks like it has reversed. So nothing on oil. VIX. So Jesse and Kurt and Anthony, here we went above the 1 ATR channel. We made a higher high. We came back into value. We were looking for a valid V1, V2. We didn't get it. Now we moved up, but now you see how we have a lower high. So, I can still take a V1, V2 in the value zone, but I need to wash out this previous low. And this is something I teach in my lessons, but I've taught it here on the live stream as well. But when you have a move up above the 1 ATR channel, you make a higher high, you come back into the value zone, you're looking for a V1, V2. Well, we didn't get a valid one, and this is a valid one. I mean, this is a V1. This does wash out the previous day and close above, but this bar is too big. But then we rally. Now we have a lower high. In order for me to have to take anything on Twitter in the value zone, I first need to wash out that first low. Verizon, nothing on Verizon. Walmart strong today. Walmart strong today for sure. It's too high in the channel for me to buy. Energy, I'm waiting for under 30, over 30 on the energy. Financials, nothing there. Real estate, nothing there. Utility sector. Again, we made a higher high. We were above the 1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone. Not a valid V1, but it did bounce nicely. But now we've made a lower high. In order for me to at all be interested in XLU, I have to come down now and wash out this previous low. And healthcare. Nothing on healthcare. I'd have to have at least a close above the 200, but even if it closed above the 200, then we have to look at the risk reward. The best thing that could happen is this would close above the 200. We have a small loss of the downside, but when it closed above the 200, it would also be above the 50 RSI. That would be sweet. So let's take a look at our potential candidates here. Boeing, looks like this V2 is not going to go. Etsy, I am going to buy Etsy. This is a valid higher low V2, and then we also have the 1050 SMA crossover, which is good. So I will be buying Etsy at the end of the day. 5 below, no. And gold. If gold is hanging in there. Currently it's 141.61. Moving average, the 20 is 141.49. So even if these close together from ETF replays, the way they do this, I will buy it right now. 141.61, 141.59. So I am going to have to watch this one pretty closely. If the 5 closes under, I can't take the trade. If they close even, I can take the trade. So that looks like the potentials for today. All right, let me switch over here. Frank says you're looking to buy Ultra, building a spec trade for Christmas season. Well, I like that we moved up above the we moved up above the channel. We've come back into the channel. We are starting to move sideways. This is looking good. I mean, we closed above the 1 ATR channel. We made a higher high. We've come back into the value zone. Here we stopped. Here we stopped. If I could get a V1 or a V2 in the coming days, this would be perfect. This would be perfect. But even if you're just buying it as is right now, Frank, I certainly like it better you buying here in the value zone and at this previous support than above value. Everything when it's above value looks exciting. The news is good, feels good, rainbows, butterflies, but a lot of the times that's just exactly the wrong place to buy. John says, "Hey buddy, good to see you, John." John says, "I am thinking. I'm sorry." John says, for later as of last night's close, ARGT." I'm not sure I'm following, John. Are you talking about that V1 to the downside yesterday on ARGT? Or were you talking about going short? Double bottom with possible divergence on ARGT, having a divergence here. Opera Limited on Consult Drag. Good to see you. Looking for end of the day. I understand it doesn't meet the volume requirements of some traders. Recent swoon was due to capital raise. Well, it's certainly moving sidewards nicely. I don't quite see a trade yet, honestly, but I'll get back to that. Hey, Bang He, good to see you. Thank you for coming. And Consult Drag, thank you for coming. Steve Burns, hey, bud, good to see you, my friend. Thank you for coming. Always great to see you. Always excited to have you here. I know everyone else is, and it's an honor and for you to come by. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do. Hey, Murrah, what's going on? All right, I better get back to my potential entries and then I'll take a look at that at the end of the day for sure. All right, so currently what I really have to watch, I have an order in to buy Etsy at the end of the day with this valid higher low V2 above moving averages, above the 30 in the value zone, and on top of that we also have a 1050 SMA. So I'm definitely going to buy Etsy at the end of the day, gold, and buy the S&P at the end of the day, and gold currently looks valid. It's still above, and that 520 is a good back-tested approach on gold, and I like where it's happening. So, all right. So I've got these market on close orders in, which is nice, so I don't have to do anything. Makes a huge difference. If you guys have market on close, it takes away a lot of the stress at the end of the day. It's hard to make all these trades at the end of the day. Sometimes you have to do them manually if they're like right on the bubble. But at this point, I'm just looking at gold as far as possibly canceling the order if these guys don't close at least equal. So I'm just going to have to watch this carefully here. So we're off of our highs, that's for sure. All right, final minute. So gold's fine. Glad we at least got a little discount on Etsy here instead of buying it intraday at the top, possibly. Although we could have bought it at the low, that would have been better. But all right, gold gonna hang in there. It looks like 20 seconds. Looks like there's a little bit more selling coming into the close. Looks like gold's getting stronger. We still okay on Etsy? Yes, we are. Etsy's a half position, by the way, because it's under the 200-day. Gold's a full position because it's over the 200-day. Okay. That is it. So Etsy, we bought at 57.20. Our new SPY trade we bought at 291.27, and gold we bought at 142.05. So
Order cancelled.
those are the new entries. You know, you guys hear my little order canceled, the English guy saying order filled, order canceled. So I'm no longer trading at IB anymore because they still charge commissions. So this non-commission thing has been awesome. Really, really good. I think it was Wayne or JT was telling me that they're saving about $500 a month in commissions, which, hey man, that's a freaking nice car payment, right? Or better yet, put that money away. But yeah, it's huge savings. That's a huge savings. For me, it's probably, I don't know, $300 a month, I would imagine, in savings. So that's good. All right, so Etsy we bought at 57.20 is our new entry on Etsy. So with Etsy here, we had two signals. We had the 1050 cross, SMA cross. We also had a higher low V2. So moving forward, you know, this is going to be a tough one because I have two different entry signals. Option number one, halfway of the washout bar. I think Etsy would probably be in trouble if it got down here. It would take out the low of today's low. It would lose the 50. It would lose everything. So I will use the halfway of the washout bar, which was yesterday. Yesterday was the washout bar. I would use that as my closing. If it closed under there tomorrow, that would be my entry. Right now, I will target up to the 70 RSI, and I'll see how it reacts around the 200. If it goes up above the 200 and closes under the 200, that would be a reason to get out of the trade as well. But MACD went positive here. That is always a good sign. So a lot of signals. Doesn't mean this trade is going to work, but there's a lot of signals. Higher low V2, 1050 crossover. MACD went positive. We're above the 50 RSI. So this looks good, but you never know. SPY. Glad we had that nice overnight on SPY. So we bought our new SPY trades at 291.27. So that's our new entry for today. I'll be selling that first thing in the morning. UNH, we did hit the one profit target, and our last entry today was gold at 142.05. So guys, this is a mechanical trade. This is a completely mechanical trade. I'm going to trade this like a robot. As long as it keeps going up, as long as the 5 stays above the 20, I'm going to stay in this trade, phase out until I'm literally out of shares. Conversely, if the 5, you can see that it closed over. If the 5 closes back under the 20, that will be my signal to just go ahead and get out. You know, and with these crossover trades, the key here is they usually win much less. They usually lose more than they win, but the wins can be really big, outsized wins, and the losses are generally small. And that's the key with trading, right? You're going to have a lot of little losses, but then hopefully you have some big wins. So that's what I like about mechanical crossover trades. They force you to do that. So anyway, that's what we have. So Etsy right here, new trade, 57.20. I'm going to use a close below the halfway of the washout bar as my initial stop. Gold, 142.05. I'll phase out to the upside till I'm out of shares, or till the 5 crosses back below the 50 if it goes against me. SPY, overnight SPY trade, I'll be getting out tomorrow. UNH, to the upside, if we reject the 50 RSI, I will lock in profits there. To the downside, if we close below today's low, that will be my exit. So anyway, I think we have a good combination here. I mean, if we look at it, we have Etsy on a higher low V2. Gold, it's nice to have a little diversification just from stocks. So I'm glad we have a little diversification with gold. SPY, overnight trade, so it's a different type of trade. and then UNH. So I think we've got a good mix. We've got a little bit of tech, we've got gold, we've got the general market, and then we've got some healthcare with different approaches: overnight, crossovers, and then some regular directional trades. So yeah, I like where we're at. Okay, so all right, well, let's take a look at the comments and questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Real quick, before I get to the answer section, I hope it's okay, but I just need to put in my daily plug, let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching, teaching, and mentoring lessons in the evening time via Skype. I've had really good success with my clients. What I do here, I hope is helpful, and I know it's helpful because people write me and tell me it's helpful. But, if you've been thinking about doing the one-on-one lessons with me, I offer a course. It's 5 sessions, 5 2-hour live one-on-one Skype sessions where I teach you everything that I know, right? If you're thinking about it, reach out to me. I think it's pretty affordable for the time that you get. And, the experience that I've had over the last 24 years, what I'm going to teach you. But if you're interested, reach out to me. My description is in the video, or my email is in the description of this video. You can also reach out to me on Twitter. It generally starts with just a free Skype call just to get to know each other. I had one last night. It's always really helpful. It's always really nice to talk, reach out and talk to other traders one-on-one. But I want to know about your trading. I want to know what your challenges are and what your goals are, and then I will teach you everything that I know. And, during the sessions, at the end of the sessions, I really put together a very concrete plan for you to follow. What I've noticed with a lot of traders is they may know some entries, they may know some exits, but in order to be successful long-term in trading, you have to have a complete plan, and that's what I will put together for you, is a complete plan, a roadmap that you can follow. So anyway, if it's of interest, please let me know. We can schedule a little get to know each other call, and again, the email's in the description of this video, and you can also send me a message on Twitter. And then if you like today's podcast, if you are learning something of value, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It really does help Google promote the channel out to more people. Lord knows there's a lot of people out there that need help with trading, and that's really why I started this channel, guys. I wanted to share with you what I've learned over the last 24 years of trading, because I've seen the negative impacts trading can have on people and their families and their emotions and their bank accounts. And that's why I put this channel together. Ironically, I have never traded better in my life than while I teach this class, because I'm teaching each day. The more you teach, the more you internalize what you're teaching, both from a technical standpoint and a psychological standpoint. I try to create a good example for you guys, follow the trades exactly, and that's kind of an unintended consequence of doing this podcast. I didn't really know it was going to help me that much, but it really has. So hopefully it's a win-win. So anyway, if you like this channel, I would appreciate it if you just hit that little bell at the bottom, or the thumbs up. Well, hit the bell too. It helps let you know when it's going to be. So all right, that's my plug. Thanks for bearing with me, and let's take a look. I know there are a lot of comments I didn't quite get to. So, all right. Mount Doji says, I wish I had noticed the engulfing candle on Eli Lilly. The engulfing candle. Oh, yes, that was yesterday. Oh, not Eli Lilly. Callaway Golf. Interesting. So that's okay. I don't have real time on that. Let me look at my other charts over here and see what that did today. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it would have been valid, Mount Doji. When I first looked at this, I thought it rejected the 50 and closed below, but no, you have this engulfing candle. Bullish engulfing means that today's low was lower and today's high was also higher, and it still closed above the 50. Yeah. Yes, and it moved up today 4.92%. Good call. Yeah, I wish you would have noticed it as well. Okay, and Frank, we talked about Ultra. You know, good that it's moved up out of the value zone. Good thing that got overbought. Now we're coming into the value zone. Now we're starting to find some buyers. We're starting to find support. Ideally, I'd like to see one more day sidewards movement and then a V1, V2. Although if there was a sweet V1 or V2 or V1 tomorrow that washed out the -1 ATR channel and closed above 50, I would take that trade as well. Okay, and then ARGT, I don't think I'm quite clear. Maybe John mentioned it more down here. For later, as of last night's close. So there was a V1 to the downside here, and then John says double bottom with possible divergence. Down here, yes. If we, you know, here's the low with the big red bars. And I do want to point out here, if you're looking for a double bottom with the divergence, here's your low. But you don't measure from this red. Even though this is the low point, you want to measure from the low point of the whole move. So yes, if we got back down here, we'd have a major double bottom with the bullish divergence. But if I were interested in ARGT, I seriously would like us to test this bottom or test the 30 RSI, being that, you know, all of this MACD is positive here. Even if we came back down here, I'm sure MACD would still be positive there. I think that would be the sweet spot to buy, but it's not quite there yet. Oprah Limited. Is this Oprah Winfrey? So, you know, we have come down. We've moved sideways. We're building one heck of a nice base here. That is for sure. I mean, this means that buyers are stepping in, right? The price has stabilized. But would I buy it right here, right now, right this second? I would like to see this move into the value zone, have some profit taking, have it come back down, and then buy a higher low V1. And at that point, we'd probably have MACD, positive MACD. So anyway, I don't know if that helps consult drag, but I don't see anything right now, right this second. Did take out this fractal today. That's something. It did close into the negative, or did close above the channel, the -1 ATR channel. That's something. But I have a feeling you know, we might have another day up or a couple days up and then have a pullback. I'd like to get a higher low V1 or V2 entry on this. Steve says, hi, Greg. Glad to see the bulls back today. Yes. Crazy market. Crazy market. Hey, Murray, what's going on, bud? Johnny says, J&J had that big $8 billion settlement. Oh, is that what it was? Yeah. Wow. Big check to cash. Yeah, I don't see anything on Johnson & Johnson. Maybe, you know, under the 30. DKS. Well, yesterday would have been the move on that Mount Doji. I mean, we moved up nicely above the 1 ATR channel, made a higher high, came into the value zone. We moved, you know, from here to here, we kind of have moved sidewards. Yesterday, we had a beautiful V1, right? Here's day one. Here is day two. Day two washes out day one, closes above day one's close. That would have been the entry yesterday on Dick's Sporting Goods. Here, I would not buy it. But you know, to the untrained eye, this might look like a V2, but it's a V1. Monday was day one. Yesterday was day two. Washed out, closed above day one. SQ. Unfortunately, Mount Doji SQ is one of those that I cannot share because of. But I'm looking at it over on my other chart here. Yeah, it looks like it was close to a V2, higher low V2. You can't see on this chart, but up here, but it would be too high for me. It's above the 1 ATR channel. Which is positive, but from a risk to reward standpoint, I don't feel like it's a good entry. Steve has an excellent share about that feeling at the top where you buy the stock. Oh, on Twitter? I want to see that. Excellent share about the feeling right at the top when you buy the stock. Well, everything feels good at the top, right? To me, it feels bad. If I'm buying real high like that, it does feel bad. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that post, but I'm not quite sure what it says. Keith21C says, quick question. When working out the 0.45 ATR, how many days do you use to work out the actual ATR? 20. Keith, the value to put in for the 0.45 ATRs is 20 days, 20 periods. Hope that helps. Murat, did you compare your return since the YouTube channel? Not really. I just know that I'm trading better, and I'm not taking trades that I shouldn't. I've been way less impulsive. Not that I was impulsive anyway, but I have been less impulsive. I mean, last year was a horrible year. I mean, my gosh. So you can't really compare this year to last year. But as far as following my rules, following my plans, correlation, all that kind of stuff, and teaching. I mean, for me to speak out loud each day, and then in the lessons that I teach at nighttime, I try to teach correct principles, and when you talk about them every single day, it can't help but rub off on you as well. Bing He says, Greg, OC looks like V2 signal, but with the gap. Else, I think I may take the trade. The earning is out 2 weeks later. Too near to take the trade. I hope this is one of those symbols that I can actually pull up. Yes, I can. Yeah, this is a tough one, Bing He, because yes, we move up higher, we move down into the value zone. We have a nice sidewards movement. Yesterday, we did have a nice washout. We did trigger the V2. It's the gap. Now, the gap's not really this far because it did gap here, and then we came down and filled a little bit of the gap. So the size of the gap is actually this big of the unfilled gap portion, and that is what, 40 cents, and it is more than a quarter ATR. So yeah, based upon that, the way that I trade, I wouldn't take it because of the gap, but it is pretty nice move up, down in the value, sideways, wash out, V2. We've closed above the 10, we closed above the 5, closed above the 20, we're out above 50. That's a tough one. That's a coin flip. That's a coin flip. But, if you did take the trade, halfway the washout bar would be the exit. So, does it offer you a good risk to reward? Yeah. I mean, if you're basing your risk this much compared to your reward up to the third ATR channel in this previous high. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one, but if I was trading exactly with my rules, I couldn't take it because of that. And no, 2 weeks out is you can still take the trade with earnings. I mean, you could literally take it with 2 days to earnings. You could take it with 1 day to earning if you wanted to, technically, but you have to get out before earnings. So two weeks is lots of time. Murat says, since you bought gold ETF, can you also look at GDX? Yes. Interesting, gold miners down today when gold was up. Well, we made this lower low. We've come into the value zone. We have not gone into an uptrend yet. It looks like we rejected the 50 RSI. This is a perfect example, Murat, of now looking for a higher low V2. I mean, we went under the 1 ATR channel, went to a downtrend. We've rallied back up into the value zone. Couple days down with a higher low V2 here would be excellent. And I haven't done any back testing on GDX as far as crossovers. But I wouldn't buy it here. Ideally, I'd look for one more day down and then look for a nice V1, higher low V1, V2. That would be the sweet spot. MACD is positive, which is good, but it did, on the other side, it did go over 50 and close under. So it's, you know, I would be patient, and maybe it just takes off and, oh, well, there you go. But this is a perfect setup for closing underneath the 1 ATR channel, coming back into the value zone. People that bought here, if it starts getting weak here, they'll probably sell. That probably will cause it to go down a day or another day, and then look for a V1, V2. So thank you for pointing this out. I will definitely be watching DDX here, looking, because that's a perfect higher low V1, V2 setup. Not today, but potentially in the future. Murat says, I made a new rule for myself. When I decide to short a stock, I will wait minimum 2 more days. If I say, okay, go ahead, then I will wait 2 days. Whenever I short, it moves 2 to 3 days against me. Yeah, I've noticed that too. You know, when you hear me talk about the higher low V1s, V2s, waiting for a couple days down, not exact, but kind of in the same universe. You know, stocks do tend to move in these 2-day moves. You know, up a day, up another day, then maybe down, then up a day, and then when you're in a downtrend, you may go down, it may rally, and then may rally another day. So, you know, Linda Raschke uses a 2-period ROC, I believe, approach, and it is basically waiting for, if you're in an uptrend, waiting for 2 days down before you buy. She calls that third day the buy day. She looks for an uptrend. She waits for 2 days against the trend in an uptrend, and then on that third day. That's why when I'm talking about these V1, higher low V1s, V2s here, moving up, and then wait, you know, here we have a down day. Tomorrow, if there was a V1, would I take it? Possibly. It depends how strong, but ideally I'd like another day down, and then that third day would be the buy day. Anthony, how about the length of the RSI 14? Yes, yeah. You can see right here on my chart, RSI 14. Jesse, 1470 30. Yes, you are correct, Jess. So 14 is for the amount of bars, 70 is your overbought, and 30 is your oversold. And then ideally, where I was talking about this with Kirk, but it's nice if you can have a 50 line on there as well, if your charting allows that. And if it doesn't allow that, then you're just going to have to watch it. You're just going to have to look at the reading. Gold, GDX and gold is correlated a lot, but GDX appears to be a bit bearish. Yeah, well, GDX was down today and gold was up today. So, you know, GDX is more the business side of the gold, and then gold, just regular gold, is the commodity. So yeah, of course they're correlated, because the higher the price that gold goes, the higher the price that mining companies go up. But, you know, in between there, it doesn't have to always be exact. Whew. All right. So we picked up Etsy today. We picked up some gold. We have our new overnight SPY trade, and we have some remnants left of UNH. UNH has been a good trade. It's gone pretty well for us so far. So anyway, nice to put some points back on the board today. And yeah, no more trading on Interactive. So thanks, Interactive. It's been fun. I'm going to miss the little English guy. every time I make a trade or cancel trades. So, but yeah, they still charge commissions. So I don't want to pay commissions if I don't have to, right? All right. So if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here, go for a hike, grab a bite to eat, and then I have a lesson tonight with Jesse. So I'm looking forward to that. Have a lesson tonight or tomorrow night with Kurt. And I had a nice interview last night with the lady in Nashville. So that was great. Interesting to learn about people's trading and what their approaches have been and how they've done and all that. So anyway, if you're listening, ma'am, it was nice speaking with you. It really was. All right. Thanks, Johnny. I appreciate that, buddy. Thank you, John. So, John, good talking to you. Thank you. Appreciate you coming by. Hope I answered those questions. Anthony, good seeing you, my friend. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for coming by. Jesse, yep, I will see you tonight. Murat, thank you for your input. I love Murat's input. He always has good comments and insights. But let me know how that waiting for 2 days on the short stock goes. Bing He, thank you for coming by. Let me know if you took that trade or not. I'd like to follow that if you do. So let me know. But thank you for coming by. Keith, hope that helps. Thank you for coming by. Mount Doji, good to see you, my friend. And keep me up on your trades. Johnny, oh, I already said goodbye to Johnny, but I'll say goodbye twice. And Steve Burns, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. It's always an honor, my friend. I'm interested to switch back over and take a look at what your trades were today. And by the way, guys, Steve Burns has a private Twitter group on Twitter. You should take a look at that. If you go to his website, newtraderu.com, if you subscribe to his newsletter, then you can be allowed into that private Twitter during the day. And I think it's really helpful. I watch Steve's video newsletters each day, and that's at newtraderu.com. So whatever Steve puts out, I can highly recommend. So Consult Drag, I hope that helped on Oprah. I didn't quite see a trade there yet, but I tried to tell you what I would be looking for. And then John, say goodbye to you. I'm not quite sure on ARGT what we were looking for, but I hope I covered it. Frank, good seeing you. Let me know what you do with Ultra, and thank you for coming by. Gamer Squad, good seeing you, my friend. And Marco, good seeing you as always. I appreciate you coming by each day. It's nice to have you. JT, nice trade on STZ. 189.50. Right now it's at 191.46, so you almost made $2 on it. Good trading, my friend. Very nice, very nice. Dustin W44, thank you for coming by. Kurt, thank you, sir. I will see you tomorrow for our lesson. Looking forward to that. Toby, good seeing you. Keith 212, I think I already said goodbye to Gamer, right? I did say goodbye to Gamer. So I think, okay, I think we're all taken. Oh, Marco says, I overheard. What broker do you use now? There's a lot of good ones out there now. The top tiered ones that are free, like TD Ameritrade, and Schwab, I think are two of the best. I was with Schwab for a long time, and I like Schwab, but I'm sure TD Ameritrade's great. I hear TD Ameritrade has really good customer service, but then again, so does Schwab. All right, guys, go out and do something nice for somebody today. Just a little something, a wave or a high, or just be nice. The world needs more of that. So I always like to leave off with that. So have a good rest of your day, and hopefully see you guys tomorrow during the last hour of the market. Take care now. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading.
The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.